Accountant of England and Wales. It was a professional qualification in order to be a chartered accountant. At the same time, as I was working as an auditor at Cheng and Coaching and Berhad. Um, the training was meant to be 3 years, and I had to stop halfway through the journey because I was called home and my mom was sick, so I had to come back home. When I came back home, I went through the internship experience that everybody has to go through when we come back home. Then I was recruited as a CFO of Fashion Star, which is a architecture and construction company. But shortly after that, I left and joined Comoros Assistance International, and I'm heading the Department of Accounting there. Comoros Assistance International is a financial institution with the agency in all the three islands, and it's a subsidy of Mayotte Assistance International. Um, so I was asked to share about accounting, but before analyzing and evaluating the field of accounting in Comoros and comparing it to Malaysia, let us start by first understanding what is accounting, yeah, and what's the use of it, and why are we talking about it in the first place, shall we?
Yes.
Uh, so if you're majoring in in business, or if you are thinking about one day opening your business, uh, going through the journey of entrepreneurship, accounting is a must for you because accounting is the language of business. Why is it called the language of business? Because it is the medium of communication through which business firms communicate with the people who are interested in the business. So each business has various people who are interested in them, namely the owners of the company, um, the investors of the company, the creditors of the company, like the banks, the government, the employees of the company. All of these people are called stakeholders of a company. All of these people want to know about the company, how it's going, how is the money working, how is it performing, is it good, is it performing well, is it creating value. So it's through the language of accounting that those information can be communicated. So basically, accounting is a system, it's an information system through which we collect, record, classify, and report information. What kind of information? Financial information, which means money. So, as we know, a business is an entity of money. It starts with money, and its aim is to create money. So, that's why it is important. Um, so, let's take an example just to illustrate a little bit what I just talked about. Mm, let's say Musab, our president here, who is an expert in the field of cybersecurity. Let's say he's living in Comoros and has identified a problem in the market and has decided that he can resolve that problem and market it, sell it. And through by that, he can open a company. That's how you do those kind of things. So in order to open a company, because we live in a capitalist society, you need money in order to make money. So in order to open your company, you need money. It's either going to be self-funded from his own pocket, or by asking families and friends, or he's going to have to go through the lenders, which can be the bank or other people. So he can either of them, or do both of them. If he got this money, he will use it to buy all the things he thinks he requires in order to produce the product or service. So it can be computers, merchandise, whatever he thinks he's gonna sell, based on the problem he has identified in the market. So all of these things are illustrating movement of money, inflow of money, outflow of money, buying things. So in accounting terms, the money that Musab is gonna get from himself or friends and family is called equity money. It's the money of the owner of the company. The money that he's gonna get from the bank or the lenders, it's called liability money. It's the money. The company owe money to those people, and by taking the money from the owners and the people who lend him money, he's gonna buy assets. Those are assets are the things that are owned by the company. So accounting is gonna classify all that money through a system of accounts. That system of accounts is regulated and standardized internationally. It's the same system that is used everywhere in the world, be it in the United States, in Malaysia, in France, or in Comoros. It's the same system. Because why is it the same? Because a company needs to be compared. We cannot compare if we are not all using the same language. We cannot say if this one is doing better than the other. We cannot have better visibility, accountability, transparency if we are not all speaking the same language. You and me are speaking English right now. It's the same with the language of money. So that money is going to be used to regenerate revenue and profit, and all those things are going to be classified through a system of accounts. Um, so there are different types of accounting according to the users. What is the end user? As I said before, we're going to collect the information, classify, analyze it, and communicate it through reports. The reports are going to go through to different users. So the type of accounting is dependent of which is the end user. So the first type of accounting is called financial accounting. It is meant for owners, investors, and lenders. Third party users. It means people, users. Beg your pardon. I was looking at something else. It means users who are not in the company in the day-to-day operation. They are outsiders who want to know what's going on. How is the money being invested? How is the money being used? Is it creating value or not? So those are people who are vested interest in the company because maybe they have invested money or they have lent you money, or maybe they're just there and they want to be able to know the performance of the company. So to them, the reports that are going to be done for them are called financial statements. In French, it's called état financier. So financial statement is comprised of three reports, namely the balance sheet. In French, it's called the bilan. The balance sheet is a picture. It's a picture of the financial health of a company at a specific time. For example, if you take a picture of myself right now, you'll see, okay, I have two eyes, whatever. At what time is it? 4:22 in Comoros. This is the picture of me. So it's the same thing in with the balance sheet. It's a picture of the financial health of the company. It's gonna say what does the company own, who owns them, how much, what does the company owe to people, what was the performance, has it created value or has it decreased in value? So it's just a picture of the health of a company at a specific time. The second report that is done through financial statements is called income statement. In French, it's called compte de résultat. So income statement is it tells a story of the financial performance of the company throughout the year. So it's gonna tell information about sales, the cost, the profits, the losses, uh, the acquisition, all the kind of things that have done throughout the year, they are to be shown in the income statement. And the third financial statement, the third report that is part of the financial statement, is the cash flow statement. The cash flow statement is easy. In French, it's called the tableau de flux trésorerie. It's just there to show the movement of the cash from the beginning of the year till the end of the year. With the inflow and the cash and the outflow of cash, for what reason, whether it was for financing or it's just for for the day-to-day operation of the company. So those kind of reports are meant for third-party users, people who are not within the company on the day-to-day basis, and who need to have this information in order to know whether to lend more, invest more, take out money, to be confident or to be not confident. So the way of doing those reports is highly regulated, is standardized using the international financial reporting standard, which is used internationally. So the first type of accounting is the financial accounting. The second type of accounting is the management accounting. It is for internal users of the company, people who work in the company, executives, management, employees. These are the these are the reports they use in order to evaluate themselves, whether they are working well, whether they are up to their expectation. These are information that talks about cost management, pricing, um, what else? Cost management, pricing, margin. How much is the margin? How much is the profit? Is it as much as we expected? Is the company efficient? So those are reports, accounting reports that are meant to to support the executive and the management in order to grow the company, in order to be more efficient and uh, and uh, yeah, more efficient. So those reports are less regulated. It depends on each company. They will choose whichever metrics they think is good according to their industry, what they think is important, and they will follow through and do budgeting and do whatever is required according to them. So the third type of accounting is tax accounting. Uh, it's meant for the government. It changes from country to country. In Comoros, we use the Code des impôts de Comores. Um, so those reports are meant for the government in order to see and ask for payment of tax. So it changes according to fiscal policies. Sometimes it changes from year to year, or it can stay for a long time. Um, it enables the government to ask uh, for instance, GST when we talk about Malaysia, or all the other taxes that a company is supposed to pay, whether it's from employee or from the profit they have generated and everything else. So those are the type of accounting that we have. Um, so what's the use of accounting, really? Um, we're going to analyze the use of it from two different standpoints, from a country standpoint at the macro level, and from a company standpoint, an individual standpoint. Um, accounting enable the business environment of a country to become trustworthy. When foreign investors analyze a country, whether they can invest or not, the two things they look for is whether the accounting standards are used and applied, and whether uh, laws are applied as well. So it enables to make so a country is deemed as sustainable, trustworthy, competitive, and legitimate when the use of accounting is done properly. The standards are used internationally, are used there, so it can give proper view, proper and enable proper analysis of a country. On a country standpoint as well, it enables the country to be able to evaluate accurately its productivity measure. Is the country productive? Is it creating value? How much is it creating value compared to other countries which are in the same, let's say, state? Um, let's taking an example of Malaysia. Malaysia was in their 2020 plan in order for them to become developed country, because Malaysia is considered as a developing country. One of the metrics that they had and that is required, um, from international community, it was to have 30,000 chartered accountants in the country. I was studying in Malaysia during that time. It was very hard for us international to be accepted in those companies in order to work in becoming chartered accountant, because the country was focusing on producing local chartered accountants. So they were giving incentive to firms. They were giving them money in order to take locals and train them to become chartered accountants, because they had to reach the 2020 goal of having 30,000 chartered accountants, because it was a prerequisite in order for them to be considered as a developed country. So that's just an illustration to show how much accounting is important in order for an economy to be considered as legitimate and worthy of investing, worthy um, of uh, of being considered in everything in terms of economic metrics. On a micro level, when it comes to company, accounting enable decision maker in a company to look at the past, analyze the past, and in the present make better decisions for the future. So it enables growth of company. One of the biggest problem we have in this country now, in Comoros, is the lack of growth of companies, and it is because mainly of the lack of accounting practices within the company. Companies are meant to grow, and we cannot grow if we don't know where we were, where we at now, and then to plan on where we can go. So it it also ensures compliance to laws and enable proper evaluation of the performance of the company. So how does the company perform? Is it performing well? We can only know by using accounting, and you can't know just because you know you see that, okay, I had 100 ringgit, I bought something, and now I have 120 ringgit. I cannot You cannot just say that, yeah, then I'm performing well. No, there are different things there that you're not seeing, different nuances there that you're not seeing. From an accounting standpoint, you may be losing money and you don't even know. So accounting is very important. So, what is the state of accounting in Comoros? From an objective standpoint, as a professional who has worked both in Malaysia and Comoros, the state of Comoros is abysmal, to be honest. There is The first thing is the lack of authority, regulatory body. In Malaysia, after you finish your degree, you have to be recognized as an. You can only work as an accountant if you're recognized by the accounting body of Malaysia, which is called the Malaysian Institute of Accountants (MIA). You have to go yourself, register yourself there. They need to check everything about your credential and give you exams as well. Then you can work as an accountant. And then here in Comoros, that regulatory body is inexistent. It is existent. It is existence in paper, because we have l'ordre des experts comptables du Comores, but in reality, it's not an authoritative body. They're not doing anything. They're not even structured. Every day they're having fights. So the first thing that is causing instability in the field of accounting in Comoros is a lack of a regulatory body. Accounting is regulated. It's highly regulated. And when you say something is regulated, we need authority. Someone who will make sure the regulation are followed. Someone who can say no, this can be done, and who can define the limits of everything. So the regulatory body is inexistent in Comoros. Apart from that, the environment is very unstructured, to be honest. Um, a lot of people are we a lot of when you ask Comorian people, they will tell you, oh, Comoros, we have a lot of accountants. Everybody's going to learn accounting. Everybody's going to learn accounting. Then when you come and look at the market on itself, You realize a lot of people who call themselves accountants have no background in accounting. You will see someone who has a background in economics and call himself accountant, and those are two different fields, completely two different fields. And same, I saw someone who called himself chartered accountant, who went and is accepted as a chartered accountant, and his background is in science, biology. I was like, what the hell? So it's completely unstructured. There is no, I mean, right now, in order to find someone who is skilled and competent, and it's actually a problem that companies are facing a lot in the country, to find someone who is skilled and competent is very hard. But people will tell you there's a lot of accountants in the country. That's false. There's a lot of accountants in the country, call themselves accountants, but there's no competent accountants in the country. There are, but they're not allowed according to the basis of the according to the needs of the country. We are few. So because people who are practicing the in the field are not skilled, there's a lot of false depiction of the information. That financial information that is supposed to be trustworthy, accurate, in order for the users to use to in order for it to be beneficial to the users. Right now, in the state of Comoros, it is not. Actually, when you go and as a company, banks ask for financial statements because they have to. It's part of their regulated requirement. They have to. It's regulated. The central bank requires them to ask for financial statements, but I can tell you that they do not use it because they do not trust the information that is depicted in those reports. So nobody trusts anything. So the use of those reports are not. I mean, it's futile now. One of the other things is like in the private sector, except for the banks, most of the companies, the biggest company in the country, do not have accountants. Uh, I can name I can name a few. A lot of the companies here, the biggest one, do not have accountants because they will say that they are not finding, they do not find competent accountants, and they have to change accountants every time, and they are done with it. So you will find a lot of companies who are working, and that's the main reason where when you come back, you will see everything is stagnated in terms of the private sector. Nothing is, there is no growth. There is no growth because we cannot plan to grow if you don't know what's happening inside the company. The way you left Sawapri is the way you will find it when you come here. The way you left Sarah Market is the way you'll find it when you come here. There are only few companies that are growing and only few companies that are taking into account those kind of uh, uh, needs. And in the public sector, it is quasi inexistent at all. And those are the first people that need to be accountable, and they are not. There is no accounting in the in any public institution. So we can. I mean, it says what it says. Yeah. There is a lack of awareness of its importance and lack of skilled professionals, as I said. So this is like a just brief summary of how it is. In Malaysia, um, you have to go through a lot of training. It's not only in Malaysia, it's everywhere in the world. You have to go through a lot of training. In addition of having this training, the regulatory body has to test. It has to test you to see if really you have mastered those techniques, because they are very difficult to master. And here people are just swinging it. Anyway, that's a summary of what is happening in the field of accounting in Comoros. I'll stop there. If you have any question, I'm here to respond. If you have any feedback or uh, any commentary about it, uh, I'm here to Yeah, I'm here to share with you. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much for your fruitful sharing. So, if anyone would like to ask a question, you may open your microphone and ask your question or type in the chat box.
Assalamu alaikum. I would like to ask one question. The question is the question is about background and motivation. So, what motivated you to embark on this journey from Malaysia to Comoros in the realm of accounting?
Can you repeat, please?
The question is what motivated you to embark on this journey from Malaysia to Comoros in the realm of accounting?
What motivated me to come back to Comoros?
Yes, yes.
Okay, the main reason of me coming back was a family reason, but the second reason was, I mean, we have to come back because otherwise there won't be any change. So some of us, I mean, if there is lack of consistency, some of us need to start. It has to start somewhere. So and we have to do as much as we can to participate into building up our respective fields. I'm talking about accounting, but it's going to be the same for each one of you in this country because nothing is regulated, nothing is built yet. So regardless, whatever your field is, if it comes to the country here in Comoros, we're gonna have to start from the ground up. So we have gotta start somewhere anyway. In, in the questions in the chat.
We have a question from Rafwanti. May I know the main challenges as well as the main opportunities as accountant manager handle a business in Comoros?
Okay, the main challenges that an accountant manager. So I guess when you talk about accountant manager, we're talking about management accounting. The main uh, the main challenges is going to be about transparency and the record of information and visibility of information because uh, because everything is so unstructured and some of the company owners do not want to share the information even to their accountant because they are scared that they're going to be taking those information and share to other people, because the field is not regulated. So if an accountant do something like that, there won't be any repercussion. It's going to be the owner who's going to be, losing. When it comes to management accounting, a lot of the information are competitive advantage. They are very crucial. People do not want to share it to the outside. So even if you work as a management accountant, even the people who is employing you will be will be having trouble sharing certain information to you because he's afraid you're going to share it to other people. So that's one of the main challenge uh, in terms of visibility, transparency of the real cost. When it comes to opportunities, because because the need is there, certain companies see the need of it. They see that they have trouble progressing with no visibility. They know that they need competent manager, accountant manager. So there is a lot of, I mean, the need is there, and we are asking for them, but there is not much of us. So that's a lot of opportunity. When you come here, you are competent. You're not gonna have trouble to find a job at all in the country. I know there's a lot of trouble in terms of finding a job in Comoros, but accounting is not part of it. You know, when you come to Comoros, you'll find a job easily when it comes to accounting. Um, Ali Sumaya is asking, thank you so much for the sharing session. I was wondering if the accounting in Comoros is not properly performed. How the GST is performed? Thank you. So GST so far, so it's a fiscal policy. GST is a fiscal policy that is imposed by the country, by the government. So Malaysia, when I was there, it was 6%. In France, we call it VAT. Um, According to the law, it is applied to all the products and services, but in reality, it is not really applied. It is only applied. There is only certain uh, because they cannot make sure of it. Everything is unstructured here, so only in certain industry that they have to make sure of it, or in the how to say, the government entity, like the the led one, they will have to apply it. But otherwise, they have no way of making sure that people are applying. You know, so it is there officially in the law that Comoros has to apply GST, but people are not really applying it. I'm not gonna lie. We're just so it's not really up done properly in the country yet. So that's why we say accounting in Comoros is still in a very unstructured phase, and there is a need for it to be structured again. Unfortunately, the government needs to be working with the professional body, namely l'Ordre des experts comptables. But right now, they are having trouble even deciding who's going to be leading them. So how can it work if they can't even decide, you know, about the leader? They're fighting, inward inside of them. So yeah, so far it's pretty terrible, I gotta say. But we are hoping, I know it's gonna change because the need is there. The companies are feeling the need of it, so it's gonna extend to the government as well, inshallah.
Okay, there's another question from Asma. How do you think we can bring awareness regarding the need of accountant in Comoros and probably ameliorate the economical expansion of Comoros?
Um, for me, the first step is for accountants to come together, because you cannot people are not gonna see the value of yourself if you yourself is not or is not showing the value of what you know. So I think there is a need for accountants to come together. There is a need for them to stop fighting for leadership. We are non-existent. I don't know why they're fighting for leadership. And there is a need to create company accounting firms. So far, there are accounting firms here, but they are like from outside the country, and they have opened a branch here. Those are the accounting firms that are valued and used by the banks. So the banks need to have proper accounting firms working with them, doing the audit and everything. But there is a need to open accounting firms by ourselves here. Um, but because the market is so uncertain, I think people having uh, are having trouble taking the risk. So we need to come together. We need to communicate. Communication is key. Communication toward the government. Communication toward the parties, the economic the parties like the company. owner of the company, investor of the company, about its importance. Why is it crucial for them to use those information, and how can their endeavors be um, bettered by using accounting? And then within the field of itself, organize, structure itself, come up with prerequisites, check the competence of people and all the kind of things. So there are different things that is done, and if people cannot come together, at least everybody needs to start somewhere. I think so. If we cannot first start together, at least we need to open the accounting firm and be dynamic in the industry in terms of communication first and technicity second.
All right. Anyone else has a question? Okay, if there are no other questions, I think we have finally come to the end of this session. So I would like to thank our guest speaker, Malanku, who has, I believe, delivered an informative and inspiring presentation. I would also like to thank you all for your kind attention and active participation, and apologize if there were any shortcomings. So thank you for making the time to attend this session, and Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Okay. Thank you guys,
Thank
and
you.
all the best for everything.
Thank you, you too.